Peace be upon you, and welcome to a new episode. Get ready for a story that will make you doubt your own ears, a story that will shake you to your core and keep you talking about it for months, maybe even years. In the heart of Baghdad, a city that has seen everything, from the days of the Abbasid Caliphate when it was the capital of the world, full of stories about love, pain, and human struggles, all the way to today, still holding the secrets of the people living in its vibrant, history-filled streets, a crime took place that shook all of Iraq. This is the story of Hiba and Ali, two people from the same family, who fell in love, got married, had 4 children, and then everything turned upside down. Hiba was only 18 years old when she got married in June 2009. She dreamed of a life like the ones in romantic films, full of love, stability, and safety, like the classic Egyptian love stories. But in January 2025, the story turned into a horror movie, the kind that keeps you awake at night, and every time you remember it, you feel like you want to go over it again just to make sure it really happened. Hiba didn't just get rid of her husband Ali, she did it in a way that makes you say, how could someone be that cold-hearted? This isn't just a crime, it's a human epic filled with mystery, betrayal, failed plans, and a shocking ending that will make you wonder, how did someone like Hiba reach this point? And before we start our story, don't forget to like and share the episode so it reaches as many people as possible. And if you're a fan of Indian stories, subscribe to the other channel to get all the latest updates. You'll find the link in the description box. Without further delay, let's dive deep into our story. The story began in June 2009, when Hiba, a young girl just 18 years old, full of dreams and hope like any girl her age, decided to marry Ali, her 34-year-old cousin. Hiba and Ali had known each other since they were children. It was a classic family love story, the kind people used to say, they were meant for each other. They were like characters from a novel, laughing together, dreaming together, each one seeing the other as their rock and support. They lived in Baghdad, in a quiet working-class neighborhood on the banks of the Tigris River, in a small house that was full of warmth and life. The house was modest, but Hiba loved decorating it, adding her personal touches here and there. Hiba and Ali had 4 children, 3 daughters and a son. Their life seemed as sweet as sugar. If they ever had a fight, it would be over in 10 minutes. Hiba would laugh. Ali would say a couple of sweet words, hug her, and they'd go back to living their life like nothing ever happened. Hiba dreamed of a stable life, a home filled with the joy of her children. Ali was the provider. He bought her a car, and the kids were in good schools. On the outside, everything looked perfect, like a carefully painted picture full of bright colors. But inside the house, something had started to crack, like an old wall ready to collapse. And no one saw those cracks, except Hiba. In 2015, the first signs of change started to appear. Ali was an ambitious man. He had a small business trading electrical appliances, and his brother was a partner in it. He dreamed of expanding his business, but during that time he started facing market pressure. Prices became unstable, and competition increased. He would come home stressed, but Hiba tried to ease his tension, telling him jokes, cooking his favorite meals, giving him space to relax. But over time, that stress turned into anger. By 2018, the real problems had started. Ali began involving his nephews in the business, and that was the beginning of the end. There were disputes over money and shares, with each person trying to prove he was the strongest. Ali felt his nephews were trying to steal from him, and he started coming home every day like a ticking time bomb. His eyes were filled with rage, and his voice would shake the house. He felt like the whole world was against him and that no one appreciated him. And instead of resolving these issues with his nephews, he took out all his anger on Hiba. In 2020, things got worse. The conflicts with his nephews escalated, and Ali began to lose control over his business. The psychological pressure turned him into a different person. At first, the fights were just verbal, like in any marriage. Hiba tried to calm him down, telling him, "Calm down, Ali. We'll get through this. Stay strong for us, for the kids." She tried to be the voice of reason, the one carrying the burden of the home. But Ali kept drifting further away. Over time, the arguments turned into physical violence. By the end of 2020, Ali started hitting Hiba, and what used to be quick fights turned into hours of shouting and insults. She felt like she was being tortured, like every blow from Ali was stealing a piece of her soul. Hiba, who still had hope that Ali would go back to the way he used to be, began to feel like she was living in a prison with no lock to open. Each passing day, she felt like she was sinking deeper, and the light she once saw at the beginning of their marriage was fading. In 2021, things got even worse. Ali started using drugs, and that turned his anger into brutal violence. It wasn't just Hiba who was being abused. The violence reached the children. In January 2022, during a moment of rage, Ali broke his young son's arm. Imagine the scene. A little boy, not even understanding what was happening, screaming in pain, and Hiba standing there, helpless, not knowing what to do. She felt like her heart was being torn apart, but at the same time, she was too afraid to take a wrong step. At that point, Hiba went to Ali's mother, tried to complain, and told her, "Your son has become a monster. Someone needs to stop him. He's not just hitting me, he's hitting the kids too." But Ali's mother, along with the rest of the family, said, "The man provides for you. He bought you a car. The kids are in good schools. What more do you want? What are you missing?" They tried to convince her that it was her duty to endure it, that it was her responsibility as the woman of the house. Hiba felt completely alone in the world. No one was hearing the cry of her heart. The family that was supposed to be her support turned their backs on her and told her she had to endure it for the sake of keeping the home together. She felt like she was fighting alone, and no one was going to reach out a hand to save her. During that time, Hiba used to leave the house whenever the fights got worse. She'd take herself and go to her family's place or stay with a friend, but she'd always come back after a day or two. Society, the kids, the money, all of that made her return, even though she didn't want to. She felt like she was living a life that wasn't hers, as if someone had locked her inside a story she hadn't written. She kept trying to hold the house together for the sake of the kids, so they wouldn't grow up without a father, but every time she returned, she felt like she was losing a piece of herself. In July 2022, Hiba reached a breaking point. She went to court and filed for divorce. And she actually got it. But for some reason, maybe because of the kids, maybe because of money, maybe because of what people would say, she went back to Ali in August 2022. But her heart was broken, and she felt trapped from every side. Every day she woke up praying things would get better, but each day only proved that hope was slipping away. She felt like she was slowly dying, and there was no escape from the nightmare she was living in. By the end of 2022, Hiba decided to look for something, anything, that would make her feel alive again. She needed something, even just a moment, to feel joy amid the suffering. That's when she met Salah, a young man born in 2001 who worked at a car repair shop in a neighborhood near her home. At first, she went to him just to fix her car, get a new tire, change the oil, ordinary things, like any customer. But over time, in January 2023, they started talking more. Salah was quiet, friendly, and treated her with respect, unlike Ali, who constantly humiliated her. Salah listened to her, laughed with her, and made her feel like she was still a human being. They began going out to eat together at small restaurants, and Hiba would bring him cake and juice from home, as if she were trying to live tiny moments of happiness in the middle of the hell she was going through. She felt like she was reconnecting with herself in those happy moments, like she had found a breath of fresh air in the middle of thick smoke. But the relationship started to look suspicious. People in the neighborhood began to notice, to talk, to spread rumors. And in July 2023, the relationship ended. Maybe Hiba tried to repair her life with Ali, or maybe Salah felt like things were getting too risky. Whatever the reason, the relationship ended. But Hiba was still desperate for a way out. In late 2023, Hiba turned to the world of social media, a new world that made her feel like she could escape her painful reality, even if only for a few moments. She met Muhammad on Snapchat. Muhammad told her he was an advisor in the ministry, a powerful man, wealthy, influential, an important figure. They began talking every day, and Hiba would tell him everything she was going through with Ali, the beatings, the humiliation, the fear. She felt like Muhammad was the only one who understood her, the only one who truly listened. In March 2024, Muhammad heard Ali's voice hitting her during a phone call. Afterward, Hiba was crying, and Muhammad tried to calm her down, saying, "This will pass. You're strong. I'll find you a solution." But in truth, Muhammad saw an opportunity to exploit. He knew Hiba was desperate and might do anything to escape her suffering. In July 2024, Hiba reached another breaking point. She called Muhammad and said, "I can't stand Ali anymore. I don't want him dead, but I want him to be helpless. I just want him to stop hurting me." Muhammad, sensing he could take advantage of the situation, suggested a dangerous plan. He knew Ali had diabetes, so he told Hiba, "Mess with his insulin doses, sometimes increase it, sometimes decrease it. It'll make him sick, and no one will suspect a thing." In August 2024, Hiba started carrying out the plan. She would increase the dose one day and reduce it the next, just like Muhammad told her. But Ali, although he felt dizzy and fatigued, didn't suffer any serious consequences. He would get through the day and bounce back like before. The first plan failed, and Hiba felt like she was wasting her time. In September 2024, Muhammad proposed a second plan and told her, "Go to the pharmacy, get some Viagra, crush it, and put it in his juice." Hiba, who was willing to try anything, went to the pharmacy, bought 6 Viagra pills, crushed them, and put them in Ali's juice. But Ali, who people later nicknamed the Iron Man, was totally fine. Hiba lost her mind. She went back to the pharmacy, got 3 more pills from different brands, and mixed them into a second juice. 9 Viagra pills, and Ali was still completely fine. When people heard the story later, they said, "What kind of man is this?" Subhanallah. Hiba called Muhammad, yelled at him, and said, "Are you messing with me? This man doesn't react to anything." Muhammad replied, "You must have done something wrong." In October 2024, Muhammad told Hiba his third plan. "I'll kill him myself, but I need money." Hiba, who had never taken anything from Ali through dishonest means, gave Muhammad all her gold, necklaces, bracelets, everything she had. The plan was for Hiba to ride with Ali in the car, send Muhammad their location, and Muhammad would stage a minor car accident. When Ali got out to argue, Muhammad would shoot him in the legs to paralyze him, but in the end, Muhammad backed out. He said, "There might be cameras that catch us." And just like that, the third plan failed. In November 2024, Muhammad suggested a fourth plan. Hiba would take the kids and leave the house, and he would sneak in and suffocate Ali with a pillow while he was asleep, killing him without spilling a single drop of blood. But when they tried to carry it out, Muhammad got scared that Ali might wake up, and the plan failed. In December 2024, Muhammad asked for $8,000 to buy a rare substance that, if mixed with Ali's medication, would leave him paralyzed. Hiba, who was now completely desperate, gave him the money, took the substance, and mixed it with Ali's meds. But still, Ali wasn't affected. 5 plans, all failed. Hiba started to feel trapped in a never-ending nightmare and thought she was going insane. On January 10, 2025 at 3 a.m., Hiba decided to leave the house for good. She packed her clothes and took her kids, but Ali saw her. A huge fight broke out between them, right in front of the neighbors, and it got physical. Hiba, beaten and broken, went back inside. She called Muhammad and said, "I gave you everything, gold, money, and nothing happened. I don't want him paralyzed. I want him dead." Muhammad, who had been waiting for this moment, told her, "This 6th plan is guaranteed." He gave her a knife and said his brother would come at dawn to finish the job. On January 11, 2025 at 4 a.m., Muhammad's brother arrived. Hiba let him in through the kitchen door and told him, "Go up to the rooftop and wait until I set things up." As he was going up, her young son woke up and saw him. He asked, "Who are you?" Hiba rushed in and said, "He's the internet guy, sweetheart. He's here to fix the router. Go back to sleep." The boy believed her and went back to bed. Hiba handed the knife to Muhammad's brother, but he said, "This knife isn't sharp, and I'm not doing this alone. You have to help me." Hiba refused. They argued, and eventually Muhammad's brother left. Hiba, now realizing that Muhammad and his brother were exploiting her, felt completely hopeless. Muhammad urged her to commit the crime herself. He gave her a gun and taught her how to use it through videos. On January 15, 2025 at 2 a.m., Hiba decided to end everything. She took her 3 older children to her friend's house and left her youngest daughter asleep in her room. When Ali was asleep, she woke him up and they got into a huge argument. Hiba pulled out the gun and shot him in the head. Ali collapsed, dead. Hiba, terrified, took a photo of the body and sent it to Muhammad, saying, "I killed him. I need help. I'll pay you. Just help me." Muhammad's brother arrived, but the first thing he asked about was the money. When Hiba told him there was no money, he was about to leave. Hiba threatened him, saying she would scream and accuse him of killing Ali. At that point, Muhammad's brother got scared and decided to help her. They cleaned the blood from the house, wrapped the body in a blanket, and placed it near the door. Hiba locked her daughter's room so that if she woke up, she wouldn't see anything. Muhammad's brother told Hiba he would leave and come back with some people to help. But after he left and she waited, she found out he had fled the city. Hiba called him and he told her, "Get some workers to dig a hole in the garden and bury him there. I want nothing to do with this." On January 16, 2025, Hiba hired workers and told them she wanted a hole dug to plant a tree. After they finished, got paid, and left, she dragged Ali's body and placed it in the hole, then covered it with sand. That same day, at 10 a.m., she brought the workers back again and told them, "My husband, Ali, didn't like where the tree was, so I need you to fill the hole." Then she hired a cleaning company to clean the entire house. She took her daughter and went to stay with her other kids at her friend's place, where she stayed for 20 days. During those 20 days, Ali's family kept trying to reach him and contact him, but Hiba was the one answering the phone saying, "He's busy," or "He's not here," or "He's doing something." She would return to the house occasionally to make sure everything was okay, but fear was eating her up from the inside. In early February 2025, she called Ahmed, an old friend, and told him everything. Ahmed was shocked and stunned by what she had done. He told her, "This is a disaster. I don't want to be involved, but I'll get 3 of my friends to help you for $10,000. Ahmed's friends dug the body back out of the hole, put it in a suitcase full of trash, sprayed it with perfume to cover the smell, and prepared another bag with clothes, in case they were stopped by police at a checkpoint. Hiba drove to the meeting spot with Ahmed, but he never showed up. She went to his house, but he wasn't there either. Realizing she had been tricked, she called Salah, the mechanic from the workshop. She went to him, crying, and told him the entire story from beginning to end. On February 2nd, 2025, Salah, feeling sympathy for her, agreed to help. They drove together to a remote desert area on the outskirts of the city and dumped the suitcase there. Hiba returned, rented a new apartment, and tried to go on living a normal life with her children, believing that she had gotten away with it. But on February 8th, 2025, a report reached the police about a strange suitcase dumped in the desert. When the police arrived at the scene and opened the suitcase, they found Ali's body. The first person they suspected was Hiba, because she never reported him missing. She was arrested, and during the investigation, she confessed to everything and gave up Mohammed, his brother, Ahmed, and Salah. The police uncovered all the failed plans, the insulin, the Viagra, the rare substance, and how Mohammed exploited Hiba and how she had reached the breaking point after years of suffering. As of now, in 2025, the trial hasn't started yet, but Hiba and everyone involved are currently in custody. The story shook Iraq, and people are divided. Some see Hiba as a criminal, while others believe she's a victim who was pushed to the edge. Her life with Ali was hell, abuse, humiliation, and a society that turned a blind eye to her pain. But no matter what, murder has no justification. What do you think? Hiba lived in torment, but does that excuse the crime she committed? This story isn't just a crime. It's a mirror reflecting human nature, love, pain, and revenge. Share your thoughts and tell us, what do you think a fair sentence should be? And that brings us to the end of today's episode. If this is your first time watching the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.